dynamic playmaking ability and a Ravens defense that shut down Derrick Henry. Now they get ready for Josh Allen and the Bills. They're beat up in the backfield as well. Allen's coming off his first playoff win, and the Bills are feeling good as they get to host back-to-back playoff games for the first time in nearly 3 decades. Allen today talked about protecting the ball against the secondary that frustrated Ryan Tannehill and sealed their win with a Marcus Peters INT.
I got to be smart with the football and putting it in the right position for our guys to make the most out of their opportunities. It's a team that you got Peters outside and Humphreys that are extremely good at punching the ball out. So that's a point of emphasis this week. And again, their front, 4 or 5 guys, they rotate quite a few guys that are really good football players. So we got to be ready for everything they can throw at us and stick to our rules and try to execute a game plan.
Not only will they be forever tied to the class of 2018, but Allen and Lamar have been carrying their teams as franchise quarterbacks late this season. Jackson and Allen 1-2 in total QBR since week 13. While Allen has the most passing yards in the league over that same time frame, no quarterback has more rushing yards than Lamar in that span. But it is the most interesting quarterback matchup this weekend. Tony and Mike, they got more. PTI.
All right, Wilbon, which is the more interesting quarterback matchup this weekend? Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen or Tom Brady versus Drew Brees?
By the way, I'm staring at your hat. I mean, you've got a Simon Templar, sort of quality with that hat on,
It's
Did you
a
ever
D.
watch The
Sims
Saint
hat,
years
baby.
ago?
Nice
All right,
hat.
good for him.
Nice hat.
Let me get back on track here. Allen versus Jackson is 2 young dudes. They're not even in their prime yet. They are gunslingers, and I don't mean throwing the ball because they'd be happy to run it, maybe happier either or both than throw it. But that is prowess, man. That is just, these guys can take, you just think they can take anybody. They can walk into an MMA ring, the octagon, whatever that stupid thing is, and just beat somebody down. They're so studly. Whereas Brees and Brady, this is the last time we could see that. I mean, it's mostly nostalgia, even though they've both gotten their teams as far. And Brady seems reinvigorated, like he could go out and actually lead a team to the Super Bowl one more time. So everybody's going to say that. I'm interested in Jackson and Josh Allen. I am. I'm interested in both. But those guys are young toughies, man.
Yeah, so I want to watch Baltimore against Buffalo, and I want to watch Jackson and Allen because they're the same player. They run it and they pass it. But I got a lot of time to watch them in coming years. This may be the last time I ever see Brady and Brees in the playoffs. They're Hall of Famers. They're Super Bowl champions. One of them is the GOAT. So that's going to get more eyeballs than any show, all year with football. You have to watch that. The other two may be better. You have to watch that one.
Well, you know what's great? You know what's still great in America? You can watch both. They're not even on opposite each other. You don't even have to be in a situation where you have one TV like you are Ralph and Alice fighting over
one
not
TV,
the remote,
baby.
but who's going to step up and change the channel like
one
it's 1953.
TV and I pay cash at gas stations and supermarkets. One TV.
Trust me, boys and girls, I've seen it and you don't want to.
I'm old.
That's it. Get another TV. We're done. Back.
We're 4 days away from the divisional round kicking off in the NFL. Jeff Saturday's here with his big storylines with the top seeds. But first, Kev, why not begin with the team that's not even in the playoffs?
Yeah, for the 3rd time in 8 years, the Eagles are looking for a new head coach. This time to replace Doug Peterson, who has a statue outside the link for winning the Super Bowl less than 3 years ago. Sources have told Adam Schefter that the team has requested to interview 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, who has already interviewed with the Lions, Jets, Chargers, Jaguars, and Falcons about their head coaching vacancies. Also, Dan Graziano reporting that the Eagles plan to interview Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who's credited with elevating the play of Ryan Tannehill over the last 2 seasons. Smith has interviewed with the Lions, Jets, Chargers, Jaguars, and Falcons. Sal Palantonio reporting that the Bucs defensive coordinator Todd Bowles is on the team's interview list in Philly. Bowles had head coaching experience with the Jets. He has Philly roots going back to when he played college ball at Temple in the mid-'80s. He's already interviewed with the Falcons. All things Philadelphia. No one knows the pulse better in that city than Sal Palantonio, who joins us now. Sal, so we mentioned 3 early candidates, but there's another key name here. What can you tell us about the team's potential interest in Oklahoma's Lincoln Riley?
Well, there is a reliable report out there, Kevin, that GM Howie Roseman has reached out to Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. And it makes sense on a number of levels, right? He coached Jalen Hurts, who's now on the Eagles roster, as everybody knows, is a rookie quarterback, to some acclaim at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley is the kind of name that takes the sting out of releasing, letting go, firing, whatever word you want to use, Doug Peterson. And Howie Roseman likes to go for broke. But what I am hearing is that Lincoln Riley is happy at Oklahoma. He thinks he's got a good job. He's making $6.5 million a year. He's making more money right now than Doug Peterson would be at the Philadelphia Eagles. Doug has 2 more years on that contract, and that if he were interested in going to the NFL, it probably would be to go to the Dallas Cowboys. That is a job that he has been linked to. So the question is whether or not they go for Lincoln Riley, right? I mean, if you go for Lincoln Riley, that means you're all in on Jalen Hurts and you're out on Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and that is the next big question in Philadelphia. With Peterson gone, what's the likelihood the Eagles will look to trade the 28-year-old Wentz moving forward?
Well, it looks as though once they moved on from Nick Foles, they went to Carson Wentz, paid him the big deal. And once they moved on from Doug Peterson, that they were committed to Carson Wentz. Now, Howie Roseman, when he addressed the media after the season, did not close the door on trading Carson Wentz, but it seems to be lining up for Carson Wentz in 2021. But now you have to go in knowing that in the interviews with the coach, right? The first question a prospective coaching candidate, Kevin, is going to ask you is, what are we doing at quarterback? I don't want to walk into a home-cooked quarterback controversy. You know, this is an organizational decision to keep Carson Wentz. I, as a coach, have to decide whether I can fix Carson Wentz. So, you know, they have to be definitely on the same page. And, Kevin, I just got to tell you, I know you're an Eagles fan. We covered the parade together. That was a magic carpet ride that Doug Peterson took everybody on, right? And right now, people are very shocked and very sad.
Seems like it happened a decade ago. Keep this in mind, too, as well. If Wentz is traded, he could still end up costing the Eagles nearly $34 million against the cap over the next 2 years. Sal Pal, appreciate it. Sage? An incredible night for Heisman winner Devontae Smith, who, remember, ended his freshman year with a walk-off touchdown to win a championship and then closes his college career with another national title after the greatest first-half performance in recent memory. Speaking of memory, no one has a shorter one after a win than Nick Saban. Fresh off a record-breaking 7th title, the 69-year-old Saban is already thinking about next season. But slow down. Reese Davis has some questions on reflection this morning.
To me, this team accomplished more almost than any team.
Harris leaps to the end zone. Devontae Smith, a truly special performance by the Heisman Trophy winner.
And I'm so proud of this group for what they've been able to accomplish and going undefeated and winning the national championship.
Nick, given everything that it took to reach this point in the season, where did you find the greatest amount of satisfaction in the journey?
I think this was an extraordinary year. I think this was an extraordinary team. I think the adaptations that the team had to make on a daily basis actually almost came to fruition in the game last night in terms of, you know, Smitty going down, Mechie going down, and then the next guy just goes in and we just continue to kind of do what we do. Sort of was a demonstration of ability to adapt and adjust, and I think that was one of the reasons that we were able to be successful. When you take something away, I think you have a much greater appreciation when you get it back, and I think they had a better appreciation for the team. A lot of these disruptions actually made our team closer.
Why do you think this group had it pull them together instead of pushing them apart?
There was something that we wanted to prove. I think there was a lot of people that were disappointed. We had high expectations last year. We didn't finish the season like we wanted to. And I think there was a lot of pride that this team coming back had in what they wanted to accomplish and what they wanted to do.
How would you assess the claim that this might be the greatest team of all time?
the work that they do, everybody being responsible for their own self-determination, ability to execute on a consistent basis to do your job. This is the greatest team from that standpoint, and that's why they were successful.
In a season of chaos, the Crimson Tide are the constant excellence, and Saban steps past Paul Bryant with his 7th national championship.
All morning in the aftermath of that win, there have been a lot of questions about legacy. What is the most important legacy a coach can establish?
I always think it's, what the players that played for them say about them, the lessons that they learned. To be at Alabama and to hear all the players that come back that played for Coach Bryant and how they all talk about the lessons that they learned from being a part of his teams, that helped them be more successful in life. So I think ultimately, that's the ultimate legacy that any coach could have, is how he impacted the players that he coached. And when they talk about it for years to come, I think that's proof in the pudding.
Oh, the first of Saban's now record 7 national titles, and the only one he captured away from Tuscaloosa came 17 years ago with LSU. He has since added 6 more to the trophy case in Tuscaloosa. This run of success, unprecedented in college football. Saban is the first head coach to win an AP national championship in 3 different decades. Sage?
To the NFL, the last time the Chiefs and Packers teams had the best outright records in their respective conferences, it led to a meeting in Super Bowl I. These teams this season ranked 1-2 in offensive efficiency. Kansas City leading the league in yards. Green Bay tops in points. A lot for both. How about the quarterback battle in this one? Ooh, it's a good one to say the least. Former MVPs Patrick Mahomes led the AFC in touchdown passes and ranked 2nd overall in QBR. The only player better than Patrick Mahomes was Aaron Rodgers. Perfect. And every offense needs a playmaker. Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill are some of the best playmakers in all of football. Both rank in the top 5 in 30-yard receptions, too. Aaron Rodgers spoke today on facing the other Aaron Donald, and that talented Rams defensive front.
It's very rare that you have an impact player that rushes from the inside. There's just not as much space. Most of the real impact players when it comes to pass rush are edge rushers. A little different with 99. He's a special player. Obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer, an impact player every single year. A guy that you have to game plan for. You have to be aware of where he's at all times. And just one of those special talents that we haven't seen a whole lot of in this game, in the history of the game.
And probably really never will, Jeff Saturday, here with us on SportsCenter. And Jeff, the Packers, they're the first 1 seed to play this weekend on Saturday. So let's start with them as they host the Rams. What's your number 1 storyline in this game?
Yeah, Rams defensive line. And you just heard Aaron Rodgers talk about it. They're going to have to dominate to have any chance in this game. They're going to have to make Aaron Rodgers feel very uncomfortable, and that's all going to start with Aaron Donald. The problem is he's coming off that rib injury, and so can he push the pocket? Can he be the disruptor, right? Can Brockers join in? Can Joseph, can Fox, and all those guys add in? Can Floyd on the outside? Can those guys put pressure on Aaron Rodgers and make him uncomfortable? And then Akers on the other side. Can they control the ball and control time possession and keep Aaron Rodgers watching in the cold? That's your best opportunity to win, right? Your defensive line comes out and sets the tone. Your offensive line and your running game keeps Aaron watching the game, frustrate him, make their offense press. That's the only chance the Rams have to win this game.
Yeah, and how about that Rams defense led the league in scoring for the first time since 1975. Aaron Rodgers certainly well aware of that, I'm sure. Jeff, safe to say not many people expected the Chiefs to be hosting the Cleveland Browns in the divisional round. Biggest storyline in that game is what?
Patrick Mahomes, right? All this time off and them coming back, you expect him to come out and light it up. If you think about Andy Reid after bye weeks, what they do, and they want to make this a track meet